Today is September 23rd, 2024. The Baltimore Comic Con was the last 3 days, September 20th to the 22nd, and I went for 2 of those days, and here's the stuff that I bought at the convention. So first we've got Action Comics 600. I'm trying to collect all those issues of Action Comics from well, the post-crisis ones when Action Comics was a team-up book, and that ran through issue 600. I have a fair number of them now. I'm not sure exactly how many I've got, but I'm probably getting close to having all of them. I know I don't have all of them yet. Blue Beetle number 3. I have Blue Beetle 1 and 2 and 4 through 7. And at some point I'd like to read this run, or at least take a stab at reading this run. I believe it ran for about 24 issues. I've heard good things about it. I have yet to give it a try, but now I have the first 7 issues. Okay, this was not on my list of things that I wanted to get, but I cannot pass up these reprints of EC comics. I really like these color versions they did. They were first by Russ Cochran was the imprint, and then it was Gemstone. And I got this one, number 8, and this one, number 9. All of these comics cost me $2 a piece. Okay, now we've got DC Comics Presents. I recently read Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld, the preview, and then the 12-issue maxi series. And I didn't even realize that she'd appeared in DC Comics Presents until I think there was a mention of it in one of the letter columns in one of the issues. So then I wanted to find it, and I couldn't find it until, well, I couldn't find it for a reasonable price until just the other day at Baltimore. As it says on the cover, this is DC Comics Presents. This is the last issue of the series. Which is part of the reason why I wanted this. It's a little weird that they ended the series at issue 97. They didn't keep it going to 100 exactly, but I guess it's, as it says on the cover, it's a pre-Crisis on Infinite Earth story, or a pre-crisis story. So I haven't read this yet, but I'm curious to see what it's like. And I figure as a last issue, it probably didn't get as high a print run as some of the others. Not that that's the reason why I buy these things. I love the cover to this issue. This is technically, I've got these in alphanumeric order, but the title of this series does not actually appear on the cover. This is DC Special Series number 5. You don't even see the number. What you see is Superman Spectacular, which is kind of how it's known. I haven't read it yet, of course. I'm not expecting this to be a great story, but I love that cover. I could not pass up that cover. Now, I bought the first 2. This is the Dead Man reprint run, which reprinted the early Dead Man stories. This is from 1985. This is issue 3. I already had issues 1 and 2, and I picked up issues 3 through 7. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I believe all of these were by Neil Adams, and I think there's some bonus stuff in there to round out these stories. And some of them have back covers, like here's the back to number 6, the back to number 5, the back to number 4, and the back to number 3. All have things on the back cover. I don't think most of the comics I bought, there's at least one other comic I bought that does have a wraparound cover. And let's see, the back to this one. And once again, I think these were all by all drawn by Neil Adams. I'm not sure if he's the only person who drew Dead Man in the early years, but this is Death Rattle #1. This is not the same series of Death Rattle that the first appearance of Xenozoic Tales was in. This is from the 90s, I think 98 or something like that. But this cover is by Mark Schultz, as you can see by the signature down there. And he did write the first story in this issue. He did not draw it. But it doesn't look too dissimilar from the sort of artwork that he produces. Fanico Chronicles, The History of the Avengers. I found out about these by chance when I was in a comic shop. I think it was that time I was in Columbus, Ohio. And I've been searching for these since then. I mean, it's possible to find them online. I'm just trying to find them for a reasonable price. The print in these is really small. I have not tried reading these yet. I have the Daredevil one. I have this one. I have one other. I don't remember exactly what it is. Okay, Fantastic Four. I've been trying to collect all of the John Byrne run of Fantastic Four, at least his proper run, which ran from 232 to 293, I believe. And I have almost all of them at this point. I think I'm just 6 short after this convention. So I picked up 272, 274, 286, which I have seen going for quite a bit of money, at least not huge, crazy amounts, but I've seen it going for like $15. Some sellers are selling it for. I think that's because this is tied into the return of Jean Grey, I think. Fantastic Four, number 270, 291, 292. So this is the end of the John Byrne run, 293. Then I also picked up 294 and 295, but I should not have because I actually already had these comics. So I now have 2 copies of each of these. Then we have Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters. All 3 issues, 1, 2, and 3. And these were all $2 a piece, so I guess I got them for less than cover price. Another EC reprint, Shock Suspense Stories, number 11. Star-Lord, the Special Edition. This reprints the original Star-Lord story from, I think it's Marvel Preview, which was a magazine. It was in black and white originally, but they colored it for this. It's drawn by most of the artwork in this is by John Byrne, but this wasn't on my list, but I just couldn't pass it. I like these old reprint books, and that's why I picked this up. And the last thing I've got is Star Trek Mind Meld. This is part of that Star Trek run, DC Comics Star Trek run, which started in 1984. This is actually a part of a multi-part Mirror Universe story. This is the second appearance of the Mirror Universe after the original Star Trek series episode, Mirror Mirror. Before it showed up ever again, I don't think it showed up in The Next Generation. I believe it did show up in Deep Space Nine, I think, or in Voyager, or maybe both. I'm not sure. I never watched very much of either of those series. But that's it. That's everything I got at at Baltimore Comic Con this year. I wish I'd gone to Heroes Con. 28 books in all. All but 6 of them were on my list of things, on things that I was looking for. And it was a good show. I'm planning to go back for more. I will be posting I have a write-up about Baltimore Comic Con 2024. And I will be posting that to my blog at davetalkscomics.net. And I think that's it. So thank you for viewing this, if you stuck with it this long. And if you went to the con, I hope you had a great time. Or whatever cons that you've been to, if you've been to any.